Did Bill Clinton try and seduce Jackie Kennedy? Mass brawls are breaking out among immigrants all over Germany. And John McCain says what's turning Muslims against the United States of America is Donald Trump. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You are listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number, 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back to Riell Truth. It's Monday, and I am having to reassess the way I view politics in America. Now, I've got a pretty good beat on things, okay? I know you do too. But I'm having to reassess my view of the political scene in the wake of John McCain's statement this past weekend. It's written about on Breitbart. Item Sunday on CBS's Face the Nation, Senator John McCain said Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's rhetoric was turning Muslims against the United States of America, unquote. So, my friends, a major reassessment is now required. John McCain says that what's turning Muslims against America is not 14 centuries of savagery and barbarism. It's not a holy book that commands them to wage war against the planet. It's not the fact that they live in uncivilized third world societies where animalistic behavior is the norm. It's none of those things. It's Donald Trump. And so I've got to reassess some basic assumptions, at least one basic assumption I've had about politics in the United States. I have always felt, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Joe Biden was the premier horse's rectum in American politics. Well, here's John McCain challenging for that title. He's saying something so impossibly bird-brained, so relentlessly stupid, so unthinkably ignorant, that I think Joe Biden is in a run for the money here. He's being challenged. Which of the two, Biden or McCain, will end up being shown by history to have been the biggest horse's rectum in Washington, D.C. in the early part of the 21st century? My friends, as far as I'm concerned, it is now a toss-up, with each man vying for that dubious honor. A word to the wise. What makes Muslims bloodthirsty and barbaric and warlike? It's not Donald Trump, not even America, the great Satan, not even the lesser Satan, Israel. It's the Quran, and it's their own natural propensity to violence. Okay, off to a rocky start here on Monday morning. Hopefully, we'll get better. Item from Agence France Presse, Dateline, Berlin. Clashes broke out Sunday between hundreds of asylum seekers at a shelter in Berlin in the second mass brawl to erupt over the weekend in Germany's crowded migrant accommodations. Several people were arrested at the fight, which started in the food distribution queues at the former airport of Tempelhof, which has been turned into a temporary accommodation for 1,200 refugees, an AFP photographer witnessed. The brawl came just hours after another mass fight at a refugee shelter in the Berlin suburb of Spandau, where migrants went at each other with fire extinguishers, a police spokesman said. Windows were smashed, sofas were thrown, and fire extinguishers emptied, said police, adding that several residents of the shelter were wounded. Some 500 people evacuated the building in fear and panic over the dispute. Separately, 2 other fights broke out in other shelters. At a refugee home in Berlin's Kreuzberg area, an 18-year-old struck a 17-year-old in the head with a belt, police said. Meanwhile, 5 people were injured in the fight between Syrians in the showers at an accommodation in the eastern state of Saxony-Anhalt, unquote. So, my friends, put yourself in Barack Obama's place. President of the United States, sworn to do what's best for the United States of America and its citizens, and so he's relentlessly pursuing a strategy that will bring this chaos here. fighting in the streets, bloodletting, burning, all the while complaining that the people getting, the migrants getting the free stuff aren't getting it fast enough, and they're not getting enough. And because of that, they hate you. They hate their host countries. And so they come belligerent, foaming at the mouth, uncivilized, unwashed, uneducated, uneducable. And Barack Obama is bringing them here by the tankerful. So ask yourself, does Barack Obama really want what's best for Americans or for Muslims? Between you and me, I think even Joe Biden and John McCain could figure that one out. Item from the New York Daily News, call it Black Eye Friday. Brawling shoppers heralded the start of Black Friday madness at a Louisville, Kentucky mall on Thanksgiving night, wrestling each other to the ground in a packed food court. The fracas knocked a woman to the ground as shoppers at Mall Street Matthews gawked at the sight of two unidentified men slapping, punching, and tearing at each other's shirts. A police officer broke up the fight, as shown in video capturing at least 30 seconds of the melee. It's unclear who or what sparked the fight or if the assailant will face criminal charges. At least one participant in the fight was shown being ushered out of the food court by his friends. He made sure to pick up a shopping bag he had dropped on the floor. Unquote. My friends, I'm going to have another article or two about Black Friday on the show. And the reason I'm doing it is to illustrate a point. More and more and more Americans are brainless animals. Yeah, he said it. You know why he said it? Because it's true. We don't stress education. We don't stress people having any class. Instead, we stress stuff, buying crap we don't need. And because our economy has been so ravaged, then if you could get this meaningless crap that you don't need and save 10%, you will walk over people. You will smash down doors. You'll sleep on the sidewalk. All kinds of animalistic behavior to buy crap we don't need. When will America get smarter? When will Americans get smarter? When will we learn that life is not about stuff? It's not about junk that you can buy, use, and throw away in 6 months. It's about values, it's about self-respect and dignity, and I didn't see any of that on Black Friday. It's Monday and it's Riell Truth. You'll see plenty of it on this show. We'll be back. We are back. They didn't say, they said we wouldn't be back, but we're back. Howard Riell Truth. It's Monday. Lots of stuff going on. Let's talk about the GOP establishment, for which I have very little love. And they're earning my lack of love because they are terrified of and doing everything they can to eliminate Donald Trump, whom I think may just be America's best chance of climbing out of the hole that we're in and regaining a little bit of what made us great. Here is my colleague, conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh, weighing in on the GOP establishment, which is terrified of Donald Trump. I agree. Let's listen.
The big thing that I think sets all of this apart.
They are terrified of the guy, and for good reason, because he's not saying what the power elite are saying. He's saying what the American people are saying. And returning power to the American people sends a chill through the blood of everyone who's connected to the political machine because they want to have the power. It's just that simple. Which is why instead of wrapping their arms around the phenomenon like presidential candidate Donald Trump, they're scheming and planning and plotting to destroy him, which means they're scheming and planning and plotting against us to take away our choice and our freedom to have the representatives in D.C. that we want. Instead, they're going to give us who they want, which, as far as I'm concerned, invalidates any authority they have. Item from AOL.com. Bill Clinton just can't seem to get his love life out of the spotlight. A new book claims the former president attempted to seduce former First Lady Jackie Kennedy while visiting her at her Fifth Avenue, New York apartment. According to the book, Mrs. Kennedy told a friend, quote, "We almost indulged in a wrestling match. It was most embarrassing. I mean, I was flattered that I turned him on so much at my age, but Bill was just like Jack Kennedy, in the sense that neither of them wanted to take no for an answer," unquote. Now, my friends, why am I taking up valuable airtime talking about what a low-life animal Bill Clinton is, especially since everybody's known that for a couple of decades already? Well, the answer is this. Married couples are never diametrically opposed types of people. They're always very similar. And so if Bill is a low-life animal, what inferences can we make about his wife, Shrillery? And ask if that's the kind of thing you want for president. Item from the Mirror over in the United Kingdom. America's notorious Thanksgiving sales descended into violence, with many renaming it Whack Friday after fights broke out among bargain hunters. Shocking scenes erupted in Louisville, Kentucky, the home of Muhammad Ali, after two men began punching each other as hundreds of shoppers looked on. As the fight erupted, the woman was knocked to the ground as the men are seen grappling with each other in an effort to subdue one another. Police were forced to intervene to break up the pair after the men had gone toe-to-toe with their bags lying nearby. Related item from InfoWars, a video out of Saginaw, Michigan, shows Black Friday shoppers brawling over vegetable steamers as one woman steals an item from a child before being physically attacked by the kid's mother. The clip shows shoppers tumbling over a pile of the vegetable steamers before one woman grabs a steamer being held by a child who looks under the age of 6. The mother of the child then tries to wrestle the box back off her as she screams, "Why are you being so aggressive? You're scaring me," unquote. I would amend that last statement a little bit. I would say to all these shoppers in general, why are you being so aggressive? Were your parents morons? This is more than just Black Friday sales. This is an inherent lack of self-respect and dignity. The trouble is, it's not a rarity in America anymore. We've got tens of millions of these bozos. These are the guys who will drive along the highway and take their cup or their beer can and throw it out on the side. These are the guys who think nothing of dropping garbage on the floor, getting drunk, pissing against the wall in the street, hooting catcalls at the women walking past them. They're lowlifes, and they are multiplying exponentially in America, which is one of the reasons America is on the downward spiral. Every Black Friday, America lives down to what nations of the world think about us. And as an American, I'm embarrassed. And as an observer of the human condition, I'm wondering what the hell happened to American society, American culture, that brought us down this far. You want the answer in one word? Liberalism. Item from Jihad Watch. Outraged protesters threatened children and hurled stones at shelters housing in apparent retaliation for vandalism and burglaries carried out by newly arrived refugees. The growing chaos engulfing the once tranquil village of Tarsjo has gotten so bad the children of migrants now need a police escort just to get to school, unquote. My friends, this is the garbage. This is the chaos. This is the filth that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and the Democrats are importing into the United States actively, aggressively. Now, if that's okay with you, that's fine. But if one day you come home and find out that your little son or daughter had the crap beaten out of them, maybe possibly raped, had their throat slit by immigrants, then you might want to rethink your political ideology, right? Item from Jews News. Headline: Australian judge finds Muslim cultural differences a valid excuse for rape. I quote, bit by bit, Western nations are adopting Muslim legal standards on blasphemy and on the treatment of women. The excuses are manifold: racism, cultural differences, Islamophobia, relativism, but it all ends the same way, with Western writers, artists, and thinkers being censored and Western women being subjected to Taliban treatment. In April last year, a psychologist told the county court that Sharifi, he's the perp involved in the story. You can read the whole story if you want. Sharifi had, quote, an unclear concept of what constitutes consent in sexual relationships in Australia. It proves, in my view, an adequate basis for most grounds of appeal that Sharifi wishes to pursue, the judge said. Unquote. In other words, if you come from a Muslim country, rape is okay. The judge ruled, basically, if you come from a Muslim country, rape here in America or in Australia, in a Western country, is okay because they don't know any better. My friends, lest we scoff at our Australian friends, it's happening here too. Muslims are allowed to get away with whatever they want to get away with because liberals and other fools say, what do you want from them? They're from another culture. Do you agree? I don't. I think that no matter what culture you come from, if you rape a person, you should be killed, executed. I don't think you have to come from a certain culture in order to know that inflicting violence and sadism on another human being is wrong. And if you don't know that, then stay the hell home because we don't want you here. Item, just about out of time, from therightscoop.com. Chuck Todd is determined to be the most liberal media moron of this week, and we documented earlier how he deceptively edited Ben Carson, and then we find him allowing a Muslim guest to mislead his dopey audience of idiots on MSNBC. In this clip, Dahlia Mogahed offers some completely irrational arguments to defend Muslims from the criticisms offered by many on the right. She also says that the majority of terrorist attacks in the United States are committed by white male Christians. Holy crap! Are you serious? My friends, the tragedy is MSNBC is serious.
How can we the people bring it back to the people's servants, not the people's masters? In the Freedom Rider says, officials in the government must be made accountable for their actions. Accountabilityrevolution.com is the place to go to learn how you can actually make that happen. They put their judges, not their slaves. Accountabilityrevolution.com. Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies reminds everyone the chance of involvement in an auto accident rises dramatically with the consumption of alcohol or use of drugs. Please think before you drive. Don't let drugs or alcohol ruin your life or take the lives of others. You are responsible for your own safety as well as the safety of those around you. This message from Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies. For information on their services, call 970-484-7981. Raisins to own gold. Brought to you by the manufacturing and all American Gold.com.
Guys, welcome back. Howard Riell. The show is called Riell Truth. You know, I've been compared so many times to Rush Limbaugh that I wanted to give you guys a better basis for comparison. So I'm going to play another clip from El Rushbo's show. Here he's talking about how Donald Trump, I'm just reading the headline on YouTube, the same as you can, Limbaugh on Trump handing Anderson Cooper his ass. Now, I won't talk about Anderson Cooper and his ass, but I will play this clip from the Rush Limbaugh show talking about Donald Trump. Here we go.
Let's go to Trump audio sound bites.
He's right. And it's another case of Donald Trump calling a spade a spade. It's straight talk. It's honest talk. That's what Americans want. We don't need the political yah-yah. We need straight common sense talk, which is what Donald Trump brings to the table, and it's why the career politicians loathe him. Item from Breitbart. A University of Illinois at Chicago student has been arrested and will face charges for an online threat to kill at least 16, quote, white devils, unquote, in revenge for the death of Laquan McDonald, who was shot 16 times by police. Quote, "This is my only warning. At 10 a.m. Monday morning, I'm going to the campus quad of the University of Chicago. I will be armed with an M4 carbine and 2 Desert Eagles, all fully loaded. I will execute approximately 16 white male students and or staff, which is the same number of times McDonald was killed," the Chicago Tribune reports. The message continues, quote, "I will then die killing any number of white policemen in the process. This is not a joke. I am to do my part and rid the world of white devils. I expect you to do the same," unquote. Obviously, the person who posted that is a mental case. But the phrase white devils is interesting. Where does that come from? Well, that was popularized by the Nation of Islam, by Malcolm X and every piece of garbage who's followed him in the Nation of Islam. You see, as you will know if you read Malcolm X's autobiography, every white person is a devil. Not most white people now. Let's be accurate. Not most white people. Every white person is a devil. Got it? Get it? Good. Item from Express.co in the UK. The British scientist was appearing on a live TV chat show in the United States when he blasted, quote, "to hell with their culture," unquote, when referring to some practices in Islam, such as women being made to wear burqas. Dawkins, that's the author who's being quoted here, Richard Dawkins, was appearing on the Bill Maher's HBO show, and the pair were debating regressive liberals, and in particular, universities banning those with extreme views from giving lectures. The conversation turned to Islam when Dawkins criticized those afraid to confront the religion on some of its extreme practices, saying the religion was being given a free pass. The 74-year-old said, quote, "There's this notion Islam and Muslims are this protected species, that if we talk about them at all or criticize it at all, it's somehow hurting or humiliating Muslims. It's a ridiculous idea." Host Maher then added liberals should protect those who are being repressed, regardless of who it offends. He went on to say this includes women forced to wear religious clothing, which led to Dawkins' extraordinary comment. Maher said, "We're on the side of the women's movement and poor and minorities and whatever, gay people, the disabled, the abused, whatever Caitlyn Jenner is up to, we're all for it." And they, liberals, applaud that. But if you say something about a woman being forced to wear a beekeeper suit in the hot sun all day, Dawkins then took over saying, quote, "But that's their culture and you have to accept it. It's the one exception. Liberal about everything but this one exception. Quote, it's their culture. Well, to hell with their culture." Unquote. Yeah. So if he's talking about liberal hypocrisy, he's got lots to talk about because liberals are the great hypocrites in the world. They will scream bloody murder about racism, but they'll also make sure that this kid gets admitted to college instead of that kid because this kid is the proper race and that kid is the wrong race. Liberals are always the racist. We'll be back.